Hey guys, it's Chris.
And Tom.
Welcome in yet another Frontend News podcast. The number?
4, I believe.
It's 4, and today it's a special episode because...
Because everything is different.
Maybe you see it. Do you see it?
Let's give you a few seconds.
We switch our t-shirts. Now I'm Frontend News.
And I'm Frontend House.
Today we have 6 fresh news for you guys. The first one is...
ReactType 5.0.
The next one is again Node.js release.
And next we will speak about the newest Angular release.
We'll also be speaking about Firefox dropping PWA support.
And next I will show you an awesome things about the React ecosystem.
And the last one is C++ in N Solid House. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's speak about the first one, which was ReactType 5.0.
Yep. So do you remember the Microsoft front page app?
No, not at all.
You were able to create the website without even writing a single line of code with drag and drop.
This one, I remember this one.
Yes.
I was trying to make Diablo 2 website
Already.
for sharing like the latest news from Diablo 2.
Diablo 2, always in my heart.
That was like very first time I was like trying to actually share news with you guys.
So I believe it was like a long time ago.
It was it was like my primary school.
Okay.
Why are we talking about front page?
If you want to go back to these times when you can drag and drop and just click your website, you can do it again with the ReactType 5.0. This tooling enables us to create our prototype of the web app without even programming. You can just drag and drop elements, define attributes via their interface, and it's ready to be used. You can export the project to the code and run it for Gatsby.js or for Next.js.
How are we gonna explain our clients why the frontend is so expensive? If it's just a drag and drop.
It is how it is. You need to spend time to properly drag and properly drop, and it costs a lot.
Obviously. No. Okay, we know about stop there. We know about ReactType, we know what it is, but what's in the current release? Tomasz?
Okay, so in the newest release, the ReactType team decided to add a possibility to export the project to the Gatsby.js framework, which is a new thing because previously we can do it only with Next.js.
I still prefer Next.js.
Yeah, me too. I remember we did some projects in Gatsby and we have some bunch of problems with it. Next thing is that they added 2 ways components construction. It means that we can start building our app from the higher scope and going down to the basic elements, or we can start building from the basic elements, and using those elements we can create the overall picture.
Which way do you prefer?
I prefer to go from small to big one.
Smooth.
Smooth transition like with Framer Motion.
Which, by the way, you can see in the previous episodes.
Exactly. Worth to check.
What an advertisement. I love it.
I'm waiting for this day where we will receive money for such advertisements.
Stop with the money. Come on. You're a front-end developer. Go ahead.
UI UX revamp integrates universal design sensibilities for web applications, which basically means that our exported app will match the design rules more efficient.
Okay. So how those information is gonna affect like front-end implementation process?
So when you have a small amount of time, which is almost always, the deadlines are really tight, and you want to build a really fast prototype just to create a proof of concept, and the more work is on the backend side than the front-end, and front-end does not matter at this point. You can use it. You can use this tool to drag and drop. To click your project, export it, and after you can attach some communication with the API, for example, and you can do it really fast. So you won't invest your money and time in programming at the proof of concept step. That's how I see it.
Sounds interesting, worth to check.
Yep.
The next one was Node.js release. Again, Node.js.
It's kind of a tradition that in our Frontend news we are talking about Node.js release, and this time we won't disappoint you. As usual, there are improvements and fixes, smaller, bigger one around different areas like crypto, dApps, docs, file system, peripheral hooks, stream timers, and TLS, and what's more, you can just check it on your own. As always, link is in the description. So yeah, it's worth to get update with what's new.
Okay, that's it from the Node. Let's go to Angular. Version 12.
Oh yeah, version 12.0.0-next.1. Does it sound good? No, such a long term, but yeah. For those who use Angular in their projects, there is an interesting news because the newest release have obviously some minor changes and improvements, but also it includes some breaking changes, which is just worth to check. So the breaking changes are around methods in form array and form group classes. And the Angular team has added event emitter to particular methods like push, remove control, or add control. So if you are somehow overwriting those methods in your project, probably something can stop working, and yeah, you need to update the code.
So how those breaking changes can actually impact your project?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, if we overwrite the logic for the form group or for the form array, probably something can stop works, or you can have some unexpected errors, or something just unexpected can occur.
So it sounds like issues that are tricky to debug actually.
Yes, it might be. If you are not up to date with the release notes and you are not aware of these changes, you probably you could spend a lot of time trying to find the reason why.
That's why it's worth to check, guys.
Stay with us, we will inform you what can go wrong with your project.
Okay, apart from interesting news from Angular world, I think that we also need to talk about Firefox, that dropping PWA, progressive web app support, in the next release, or it's already happened?
Yeah, it's already happened. So after months of fixing and trying to make it work, the Firefox team decided to drop the support for PWA. So the option was enabled through a hidden preferences, and unfortunately it caused a lot of problems for the developers. So yeah, that's why they decided to drop the support. Okay. So
is there any info if they're planning to support it in the future release, or no news by now?
Yeah, good question. So for now there are no plans to support it in the future. So the Firefox team will focus on something else.
Guys, the next one is gonna be about repository with really awesome things from React ecosystem.
I have got the answer for your JavaScript fatigue. If you're working with React, it might be a holy grail for you. It's really hard to find a good and solid library which will answer your problems, answer your questions, and give the proper solution. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you the awesome React repository, where you can find tons of useful stuff like React tutorials, React tools, bunch of libraries, information about React Native, the tooling around the React ecosystem like Redux, Mobex, GraphQL, Relay, Apollo videos, and much more inside. So this place will help you with a lot of problems, with a lot of JavaScript fatigue, and believe me, you can find only useful and hot stuff in here.
Thanks so much for this short screen sharing session. And the last one is about C++.
Yep, so nSolid is an alternative to the Node.js runtime. It boosts the performance and security for the mission-critical Node.js applications. So the Node source team has introduced the beta version of the C++ API that allows the developers to use C++ code inside the NSolid apps.
Why we really want to use C++ in NSolid?
So, as we already know, the Node.js is a good tool to handle, for example, the high traffic. But unfortunately, JavaScript is not good to handle the highly performance consuming apps. Like, there is a lot of calculations and the Node.js won't do it pretty fast. And if you want to handle it in the most optimized way, for now you can send such consuming operations to the C++ thread where it will be processed and the result will be sent back to our Node.js app. Thanks to you boost your performance by moving the performance consuming operations to the very low level, which is the C++. Does it make sense?
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, Thomas, so maybe you will prepare like quick demo how to do this for the next tips and trips session.
C++. Oh, okay, we can try. Why not? This will be a nice challenge. So let's try to set up the NSolid with the C++ and let's calculate something soon.
Okay, Tomasz, thanks. Fingers crossed. Sounds awesome. That's it for today. Thank you, guys. Let us invite you for Curated project and tips and trips, both with me. Stay tuned. Welcome in yet another episode of Website of the Week. Today we are gonna surprise you and change our agenda by mixing top websites and tips and tricks together. So check the full material and let us know what you think. Another change is that this time it's my turn to show you something inspiring, which definitely Pixi.js is. Not only for Curated project but also for tips and trips sessions. Pixi.js is, rendering library that helps us building interactive experiences and games while keeping perfect performance and cross-platform support. I decided to present to you this engine and focus on this topic because, as I observe market every day, and huge number of awarded websites is based on the Pixi. The best thing I can show you as a proof is a list of examples and projects made with Pixi.js. As you can see, the range of projects is wide and varied. From simple 2D games to serious global projects. It's worth to check because its popularity grows, developers love it, I love it, and I hope you will love it too. For more info you can visit Pixi.js.com or just click a few examples below, like the one I will show you, Art for Global Goals. So in this one with Pixi, we can brush through all 17 issues to discover artists' interpretations of global goals, all made by one artist. Nice looking transitions make this project very well polished and detailed. I love it. Okay, the next one is from the brand studio. It's landing page that looks like a huge collection composed of everything that's found in the garbage, but in positive meaning. The full project is full of micro animations, GIFs and parallaxing objects. It shows that they treat projects with funny approach and professional background. Okay, enough about marketing. We know now what the Pixi is and what kind of projects can use it. Now we are gonna dive deeper and find out how to actually code it. We are moving to tips and trips now. See you guys. Guys, as mentioned in previous part, it's time for some coding. I will quickly show you how to start your journey with Pixi. We are going to init canvas, preload some assets and add it to the stage, and next animate it, so stay tuned. Here's the documentation. You will find here anything you need. It's quite big because Pixi is large library that helps us to handle a lot of stuff. So that's why I will show you how to start and what can be really done with this one. You can see in the documentation there is also like learn section, community, setup, even some demos and basic usage. So you will find a bunch of helpful stuff here. However, yeah, let's dive into the code and see it in the action, to be honest. I've prepared two cons for you, just to don't waste time for looking for images. We'll use them later, don't worry about them now. For Pixi, we really need to start with creating application. Pixi is already included in the code pen, so I don't need to do this. However, if you start your fresh project, obviously you need to install the bundle. Okay, let's create const for the app. New Pixi application. Nothing that can surprise us. Application has a lot of options, but we will use just two for now. Obviously, for more props, you can jump straight into the documentation and see what is possible. Okay, so we are going to use width, let's say 500, and height, let's say 500. So we have this square. It's already going to create canvas element for us. So the only thing we need to do is add it to the HTML DOM, which I will do right now. So document body child app, and we adding view. It should render our canvas, which will have 500 pixels to 500 pixels, totally black, nothing special. Okay, once we have the canvas, we can really start our animations, interactions, even games. For today's tutorial, I think we're gonna preload the image, show the image, and then we can create like quite cool animation with this image, so stay tuned. Okay, to preload image we use Pixi loader, and let's use the image I already prepared, its path to the image. And once preloaded, we run a function. We can call it setup. So we're only missing this setup function now. Okay, probably no errors, but we don't see anything new here, because the only thing we did is preloading the image. Pixi loader provides us a bunch of cool loaders, so it has everything you need. Let's see what we preloaded actually. So I will create sprite from the preloaded assets. Guys, image. You can already know what it's gonna be under this image, I bet you know. So we create sprite. For the resources we use the same path we already preloaded, and we get texture. Okay, so guys, you don't see any changes right now because we still missing one step to see what's in the image. Who guessed? You see me and Tomasz sending a love for you guys. Okay, we have the image, we have the very basic structure of the project. What can be done with the image? Let's say you want to change the X position of the image, so you simply go to guys emg. That means you move it by 100 pixels, and you can do this with all the properties, so with width, height, scale, rotation, or even anchor point. So you like simply operate like this. So once you have the image added to the stage, you can change all the operations and play around the image. I encourage you to check yourself. It's super fun. You can do a bunch of very cool interactions. So just try it, guys. And for the last part of this tutorial, let's create super cool effect that is very stylish nowadays. So there's gonna be a filter added to the image, and we will animate this filter. I bet you already seen a lot of pages that it has this hover effect on the image. You might wondering how to create it, so let's find out now. So for this one we need to have extra texture. I just prepared very basic texture for you guys. It's like, you know, grayish cloud, but you can use whatever you want. It creates the effect actually, so it's worth to play around it, check how it looks like with different textures. But for this tutorial, let's use this one. So I will create sprite from this one. I won't be preloading it with just a sprite. So the sprite, Pixi sprite from path. That's how we created another sprite. Obviously, just don't forget adding it to the stage. So I will do this right now. Okay, we have the texture, nothing changed yet, so let's add the action. The next step is about creating the filter. It's simply as that. You just need to check the documentation, but I will show you how to create very basic displacement filter. Const again Pixi filters, and we use the name. Hopefully there is no typo, and we use sprite as a base of this filter. To make it prettier, let's change the wrap mode. And we use const from Pixi. And change padding a little bit. Let's say 15. Okay, still no effect, but stay tuned. We added everything to the scene. So there is one step missing. We need to add filter to the image. So hopefully guys, it's array of the filters, the filter, and now you can already see like very subtle effect with the waves. Let's make it bigger. So let's say 70. Okay, it's already cool. We see how the image changed. There is a lot of distortion in this one. However, we are still missing animation, and that is where the Pixi magic goes. So in pure JavaScript, we usually use intervals, timeouts, which are usually bad patterns. There is also request animation frame, but Pixi created something that called ticker. And ticker is this kind of request animation frame we would use with pure JavaScript. So let's find out how to actually use it. So the app has a ticker. We add it. We add a callback. It means that in each frame it's gonna take an action, and for the action we will just change the position of our filter to move it and make this cool waves animation effect for our image. Let's move it each frame and make sure if it's, you know, X is bigger than our image, we push the position to 0 again, so reset the animation. And that's it. You guys see how it behaves. You see, guys, how cool is that? Thanks for this very short session. I hope you enjoy it and you like the Pixi and you will start your journey with Pixi. It's worth to check if you want to be interactive developer. It has a lot of possibilities, and as you can see, we use it for like most of the award-winning projects. So stay tuned and see you next week. Okay guys, as usual, we want to invite you to our social, which is...
I believe it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Spotify.
5 socials.
And we want to receive 5 likes from you. And
just 5 likes. Not a big deal. See you soon, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.